CM Punk's camp are reportedly not happy with the AEW Dynamite Elite Mockery. A former AEW star has signed with Impact Wrestling, and we've got a rumor killer on the Money in the Bank pay-per-view / next Money in the Bank winner rumors. Stick around to find out all the deets. So the return of the Elite's been pretty interesting, hasn't it, Andrew?
Oh, only slightly, yeah. Just a little bit eventful.
They returned to mass adoration and then turned up in Chicago to mass booing.
Yes.
It's been something well worth watching so far, but essentially their match against Death Triangle in Chicago this week, they were met with very firm resistance from the Punk faithful. Obviously, it's not going to be an easy town to go back to.
No, not in Chicago at least.
But they added a bit of fuel to the fire. The Elite made many references to Punk in the backstage fight at All Out, including Kenny Omega biting Pac's arm, which Ace Steel was alleged to have done to Omega during the fight, using a GTS, which is Punk's finisher, and the Young Bucks poking fun at Punk botching the buckshot lariat. And these all went over about as well as a fart in church with that audience. So Dave Meltzer on Wrestling Observer Radio said that people close to Punk were not happy with what went down on Dynamite. And apparently as well, the GTS seemed to be the driving factor in people close to Punk taking so much of an issue with it. And the Elite making so many references has also apparently led to speculation from some fans that Punk could be returning, while other fans are kind of firmly in the, well, this is it, final nail in the coffin camp.
Yeah.
So I think, Meltzer there saying that people close to Punk weren't happy with what went down, and the fact that the GTS might be the driving thing there. I still personally feel like this is all just going to blow over.
Me and Tom reported on it yesterday, and Omega was out there being like, let's just move past it. We don't need to talk about it anymore. Let's not do anything about it. Then all the stuff happens on Dynamite, right? And it's like, it almost feels with these references being... I said this yesterday. It's like professional wrestling. They're in Chicago. I feel like when the crowd are so against, when the crowd are so against you, you're going to play up to it as the heels in this situation. But again, it also feels to me like it could lead to something maybe down the line. Maybe there is something.
I just think it'd be foolish if you can get every single person on the same page and get them all happy, which is a very big ask. That's the hardest part. I understand that. But if you can get everybody to that point, surely this is the biggest money match we've seen in a long time.
That's exactly what I was thinking too. People are going to want to
pay to see blood.
Yeah, definitely. It's one of the biggest stories of this year. We're still talking about it now after however many months it's been. And I feel like if it was to lead on to a match down the line, big time. That's going to be a huge part of wrestling history. The wrestling world will stop
for a moment to watch.
Yeah, absolutely.
All of it.
Absolutely.
But moving on now to a bit of a weird one from yesterday. So happy Thanksgiving, by the way, for all the Americans for yesterday who are watching. And happy Black Friday today. I hope you all get some wonderful deals. But yesterday, WWE shared a video of Dominik Mysterio and Rhea Ripley turning up at the Mysterio's house for Thanksgiving. And it's a doozy. Dominik knocks on the door. Ray answers the door. You see that Ray has an 11-foot tall nutcracker in his house in the reflection on his window. Ray's then like, what are you doing here? No, you can't be here. And Dominik's like, it's the holidays. I've brought Rhea with me. I'm coming in. And then proceeds to beat his dad merciless.
Man.
And then he hits him with a broom. He's just nailing Ray in the leg. Ray's mom's halfway across the room just going, Ray, stop.
Yep.
Not Ray, stop. Dominik, stop.
Dom, stop.
Ray, get out of there. And essentially, it all ends with Dominik grabbing a framed YouTube thumbnail.
We're talking about this before.
YouTube thumbnail. We talked about this before the video.
It's so good.
It's a shot of like Ray or Dominik on Ray's shoulders, Ray on Dominik's shoulders, but they're kind of embracing. And it's just still got the Raw logo.
It's got the Raw logo in the bottom corner. So he like looks through all the family photos, and that's the one he picks.
That's what he picks up. I just like to think that's just there.
Yeah,
just there. But he smashed him with it. But essentially, it was brilliantly weird. Yeah. It was kind of, there was swearing that was bleeped out in here. Like, it felt quite off the wall, and it felt quite old school, and it
felt ripped out of the Attitude Era. Yeah, absolutely. And
if they just flipped it so that it wasn't long ways, I would have been happy.
Exactly. It almost feels as though it was a playoff. I think for the longest time, people have been like, "Oh, Christmas and Thanksgiving at the Mysterios this year is going to be a little bit awkward," and I feel like it played into that really well. They sort of listened to what people were saying and what people were joking about.
Dom's really coming into his own, isn't he?
I think he is as well. I think he's still got a a little ways to go, but like
I think character-wise, he seems to be developing really nicely here. Like he just the way he's going after his dad. I think in this thing especially, he's kind of very tongue-in-cheek. He knows he has the upper hand here, especially when he nails his dad with the frame.
I know,
but yeah,
there's a huge shadow over him, isn't there, in terms of Rey Mysterio and the legacy that his dad carries.
Yeah.
So like to be able to sort of go off on your own. Obviously, Rey is on SmackDown now. Dom is on Raw, and to try and sort of distance himself from that to make his own sort of path. I really do like that. And why not attack your dad at Thanksgiving? Just go for it.
Well, on the point of Thanksgiving, as you can see in front of us here, all of these wonderful items and many more are available at cultaholicshop.com in our Black Friday sale that gets you 50% off everything on the store. And you don't even need to put a code in.
It does it all for you at checkout.
It does it all at the checkout.
It does.
So if you've been waiting for some Cultaholic merch, if you've been saving, if you've been wanting to get something but haven't had the time, now is the time to strike. There is, as we said, no code. It will just apply it straight away at the checkout. But you've got t-shirts, stickers, posters, signed posters, other signed things, caps, candles that smell like crap, blart socks. Just there's loads.
All buddies. Some of these posters have willies drawn on them.
Yeah.
Will you get a willy poster?
Maybe you will, maybe you won't.
You don't know until you buy one.
Well, moving back to the world of wrestling there from our brief QVC moment, a former AEW star has signed with Impact Wrestling, and that star is Dark Order's Alan Angels, a former Dark Order member, Alan Angels, who's now part of Violent by Design, has officially signed with Impact. He was guest on the Paltrowcast with Darren Paltrowitz, where he announced the news, saying that the deal was done in the middle of October. So technically old news, but newly revealed old news.
Because we saw he and I think it was Big Con from the Ascension. I think it was the Ascension, the tag team, wasn't it? The Ascension, They turned up within the Violent by Design group, and I think for a little while didn't know. I don't think they'd officially signed, but now it's on the dot. The dotted line has been signed. Looking forward to seeing what he does, because he's a great wrestler.
Well, this is it. Like, best of luck to him. This is a chance for him to really sort of break out and just do something entirely new. Get to showcase a whole new side of yourself, and then maybe from there break off into big solo stardom.
Yes,
you know, and
absolutely.
I think Impact is especially a company that is willing to give people a lot of chances creatively. I guess it's going to give people more space that way. It seems like Impact just seems more open to doing wilder and more sort of spur of the moment ideas. So I'm kind of excited to see how this is going to go for him, and I hope that it goes well. Yeah,
me too. I think it seemed as though when he broke away from AEW, he really just wanted to put the feelers out for himself. Kind of, it's difficult. I say this going from one group to another group, but maybe he felt as though he was a little bit lost in the shuffle in AEW.
That's the thing. Like, if you feel like you're lost in the shuffle, or if you feel like you need to break out on your own, you don't even need to be alone to break out on your own initially. You can go and be part of another group, but as long as it's going to let you showcase a new side of yourself, and it's going to allow you to showcase another sort of string to your bow, I guess, then it's better, I feel, because then you're able to go, hey, well, I can do that, but I can also do this, and I can also do this. And as I said, Impact's a company where you see a lot of people kind of trying different things, and they run with it, which is what I like.
Absolutely.
Moving over now to Japan, where we've got some news regarding Wrestle Kingdom 17. It is once again going to be a 2-night affair. Now, I believe last year it was the 4th and the 8th of January, but New Japan have announced that the second night of Wrestle Kingdom 17 is set to take place 17 days after night 1 at the Tokyo Dome on January 4th. So this will be January 21st, and it will be Wrestle Kingdom 17 in Yokohama, emanating from the 17,000 capacity Yokohama Arena in, you guessed it, Yokohama, Japan. This is the same as last year. Well, not the same dates, but the same place they went to. So, sorry, not last year, this year. Last year was the first 2-night Wrestle Kingdom. Yeah. This year was the first Wrestle Kingdom in Tokyo, Wrestle Kingdom in Yokohama. Okay. And now again, we're going Tokyo and Yokohama. So we're going to get another chance for the fans in Yokohama there to be in on some rather exciting action. And it could be a bit of a special one as well, because this year, night 1 was more your traditional Wrestle Kingdom. Night 2 was New Japan versus Noah. In like a cross-promotional battle. And this is sort of coming to the end of an anniversary year for New Japan, and this is in honor of an Antonio Inoki, they've said.
Yep.
Hopefully, we're going to see some big things on that second night, so I'm very excited to check it out.
Yeah, it could be loads of stuff going on. I think announced, right, is Will Ospreay and Kenny Omega having a match too. Maybe we get some more AEW stuff there. 4 or 5 matches announced. They're all out there, but it's always a show I make sure I'm able to watch, even if I'm not fully up to date, because it's just one of those things where you never know. There's always a hell of a lot of good matches. It's always an exciting time, and sometimes you do just get mental, huge things like Noah versus New Japan. The forbidden door is swung wide open.
Well, yeah, there's that just dangling there, that carrot isn't there. So potentially, I'd be up for that.
Yeah, me too. Yeah. I'm all for that, absolutely.
Moving on to our final story now, and back over the other side of the world and the other side of the fence, back to WWE. This is a rumor killer on all of the Money in the Bank rumors that are swirling around at the moment. This one comes from Fightful Select, and they said, recently a rumor emerged discussing the future of the Money in the Bank pay-per-view, speculating it could be removed from the slate and put on WrestleMania. Fightful Select asked several members of creative and higher-ups in WWE, who said that such a thing isn't impossible, but it hasn't come across their desks as of yet. In addition, there was a rumor that LA Knight was already penciled in to win Money in the Bank next year. One source that they asked took particular exception with that, saying, I like LA Knight, but we don't even have definitive plans across the board for months down the line, much less next year's Money in the Bank. If we wanted it on him so bad, it wouldn't have been hard to take theories to put on him. I've never heard him discussed in the same conversation as Money in the Bank. Not that it couldn't happen, because he's a great performer, but it's not been discussed.
We'd seen this happen before as well, like the correcting saying that, we could have taken it off theory and given it to LA Knight, because we saw that with Otis when his briefcase got taken away and was given to The Miz.
Which,
it was a thing. It was a thing. And I'd love to see LA Knight with the Money in the Bank briefcase as well. We'll see what happens. I'm in two minds, because I really do. I used to love Money in the Bank on WrestleMania. I used to love it so much. It was one of my favorite matches, one of the matches I'd look forward to the most. But then I also kind of like it being its own set thing, because it is quite a big deal, right? You've got this briefcase and you can cash it in whenever you want for the title.
It's one of the rare stipulations that I think works as a pay-per-view show. Yeah. And I'm always happy to watch Money in the Bank. It's often one of the more exciting events on the calendar every year. And it's one that I look forward to. So I wouldn't be surprised if it stayed, but like Hell in a Cell, I'd be happy if that just kind of lists off into the sunset for a year or two, and then comes back at like a big event rather than having itself as a big event. But Money in the Bank, I could see it going to Mania, but I think when you have such a good show, and potentially able to draw so many people depending on the lineup, it maybe makes sense to just keep it as its own thing.
I think so, and it's a nice way, on a WrestleMania card that's already packed with lots and lots of people. Maybe you sort of lose sight of the person who's now got the briefcase, and they're going to be built up as the next challenger for the World Championship. But the focus is more on those people when you have the set Money in the Bank pay-per-view itself.
Yeah. That, and just imagine LA Knight with that briefcase.
Just doing all that.
Well, that's it for our second dose of wrestling news today. We may be back with more news later if anything else breaks. But in the meantime, hope you have a wonderful day. Go out there, get some lovely deals.
Go on.
Some lovely deals. And we will catch you next time. Tatty bye.